Hey, Superphiz here. This is going to be State of the Stake 33. I just finished a run. Had some thoughts I wanted to get off my chest. They're not going to be earth-shattering to anybody, probably except to me, but I want to share them. This has nothing to do with staking. It does have to do with Ethereum. So, in my previous life, I worked in schools, so helping kids adjust and helping them acclimate to schools. A couple of the things that are relevant here are that one of the things I discovered is that kids who are happy in their placement do well. Oh my gosh, who would have thought it? So if you have an engaged student who is surrounded by 26 other students who are interested in causing trouble, it's obviously difficult for that one student to engage. Likewise, if you bring a student who has behavior difficulty and place them around other students who have behavior difficulties, theirs is likely to become more severe. And so one of the things that I began doing was collecting behavior data for each student, and I developed a system to place students in classrooms where their behavioral needs would be addressed from the outset. And the wonderful benefit of that is that kids are happy at school. They're in a class with other kids who are so essentially they're balanced. So there are kids with behavior issues, there are kids who are well engaged, but there's not an overwhelming majority of anything. It's balanced, and basically every student in the school gets a fair opportunity to engage in the same way. So where I'm going with that is, one of the difficulties with that is maintaining records. You have a new student who comes in and you know nothing about them. Many times parents will disguise or cover up information, and that's really fine because the student's behavior is going to bear out eventually. But it brings me to records management and this sudden realization that the next big thing in Ethereum is likely to be records management systems. In my frame of reference, that is student management systems where you have basically I want to be careful not to use technical language for two reasons. I don't want to lose anyone, and I don't want to do it wrong. Anyway, you have a blockchain-based file, an Ethereum chain-based file for a student who comes into a school, and that student carries some kind of key that allows the unlocking of that file so that it can be edited by their present school. And then when they go somewhere else, they can take that key with them, and that key can unlock their history. And so schools don't have to transfer anything because the student is the key to that data. Whether or not they lose it, I'm sure it will happen. That's a problem for the future. But it really brings to bear this idea of records management on the blockchain, which is something we have that's not true, something that has not been developed yet, not been developed well enough yet. I know projects like Factum were working to canonize information, which is not the same as managing it. And I know a lot of people have put like marriage certificates and property certificates on the chain. Still not the same. What I'm describing is a system where a record follows a person, and that record can be updated and managed based on a piece of information that person has, or maybe based on a recovery with people who has dealt with that person in the past. And so in terms of a school, that might be grade records. For me, my interest would be, I say behavior and you think of bad behavior, but when I think of behavior, I think of like, what does this student need in order to do well? And if that information is seamlessly transferred from school to school, then when a new student comes in, that new school is ready to receive them. Again, I'm framing this all in school just because that's my history, but it brings me to Paul Brody's EY Global Talk from probably over a year ago now, where he talked about supply chain management on the blockchain. It really blew my mind because I suddenly began to recognize more future potential for the network, and especially with sharding coming with the increased capacity of data. I realized that before that kind of supply chain management can really happen, you need good records management. And so my whole rant today is the recognition that the next big thing in Ethereum could and maybe should, I don't know, be a robust records management system that can be templated and applied to many different types of fields. Because once that records management system is in place, it could be applied to education, to healthcare, to supply chain management. And rather than having to recreate it over and over, the building blocks that we need are that basic records management system. So anyway, that was big on my mind today. Like I said, it's an epiphany for me. It may already be done and well developed. I'm not aware of it if it is. And if I'm not aware of it, it means it's not developed enough yet. So I think that is a really great place to consider shifting our efforts. DeFi is great. DeFi needs to happen. I'm all about it. But what we observed with DeFi was this ability to build building blocks that could be basically like standard libraries that could be applied in different ways. And I think when we build that same kind of tool set for records management, then we're really going to take the world into the future more quickly. All right, that was my rant. Hope you found something in it useful. I'll get back to talking about staking soon. And it's so funny. I skipped over 98 things that I should be talking about. But like I said, I talk about the things that interest me at the moment. And that's what you get. Thanks.